Welcome to this very special edition of the interview. In the studio with me is a very special guest, D.R. Kaarthikeyan, former CBI Director and author of a book called Triumph of Truth, the Rajiv Gandhi assassination. Now, the reason why we want to have this conversation right now is because there is a lot of confusion in the country about various institutions, and it's important to remember the glory of those institutions. Mr. Kaarthikeyan was the CBI Director and the investigator who cracked the Rajiv Gandhi case at a time that nobody else wanted to take that case. Not only did he ensure that that case was cracked, he ensured 7 convictions. Mr. Kaarthikeyan has been credited for his efficiency in that case and for his credibility and his commitment to the truth in his entire career. Mr. Kaarthikeyan, thank you so much for joining us here on Mirror Now. It is a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. Being with you is a great pleasure.
I want to start with some of the older stories. We understand when you got the call to take up the investigation on the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, nobody else wanted to touch that case because they were afraid of failure. Is that true? And why did you take it?
I was in the Central Reserve Police Force, Inspector General of Police, Southern Sector at Hyderabad. The call came from Delhi that morning from the then Director CBI. Before that, the then DG, Director General of the CRPF was Mr. KPS Gill, the famous cop, you know. He was my Director General, head of the Central Reserve Police Force. I was IG of CRPF in Southern Sector, headquarters at Hyderabad. The call came from him in the morning and said, how are you and all that usual thing. I said, did you get a call from CBI? I said, no, there's no unfortunate assassination the previous night, you know. I said, yes, I'm in mourning because I was very fond of Rajiv Gandhi. And he too, like me, as you would have seen in the book also. Nothing to do with politics, just what happened.
Yes.
And I thought he was a dynamic person, and so I said, no, I didn't get a call. No, they want to take up the investigation as part of the CBI. And they asked me, I said, I have no objection, provided he is not taken out of the CRPF, because we had a lot of projects going on. And why don't you talk to the Director CBI? I said, no, I don't talk. I won't talk. I was not in a mood to talk in any case. A few minutes later, I got a call from the Director CBI. And he said, you know, this has happened. And the government of India want to take up, the CBI to take it up. There is no, both the IB dealing with internal intelligence and the RAW dealing with external intelligence. So both of them said, we have no clue. Who could have done that? So, but still, the government wants us to take it up. So everybody feels you are the right person to handle it. And it may end up like Kennedy assassination. All that he said, it is written in the book also. But we want to do our best, but I am given the task to take your consent to take up this investigation.
Yes.
I told him why. He himself said it's unlike Indira Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi assassinations, where people were caught red-handed.
Yes, and taken alive. So you had some, you know, somewhere to start.
He said it's more difficult. I said, but I don't give it to some senior person who had dealt with it. He said, no, we all feel, everybody feels you're the right man. I said, if it is a call of duty, naturally I will take it up, provided there is no political interference.
Okay.
I will not believe in third-degree torture. We will go from crime to the criminal. Only on that condition I will take it up.
You put down 3 conditions. Were all 3
Third was, I must continue to be the CRPF. Because at that time CBI only name. There was nothing, no manpower, nothing was there actually. Then he went back and talked to the top people in the government, came back. He said, yes, we accept all your conditions. When can you, how will you handle both, CRPF? He said, I am not asking, you are asking me to take up the case. I need the CRPF for support also. And my family was there, I can't keep shifting them all the time. And Mr. Gill told me, yes, you continue. You may not be able to do inspections in Punjab, Kashmir and Northeast and all that for some time. The DIGs can handle it.
Yes.
It doesn't matter, I want you to continue. He also insisted I should continue to be CRPF. Then they asked me, who all would you like to give? I said, I know people, but I won't choose people whom I like. You put anybody who are good enough, that's enough. So I went by a special flight from Hyderabad to Chennai the same evening, diverted India First, which was going to Bombay. We cancelled it, and the DG CRPF, Tamil Nadu wanted some force also, CRPF, got a lot of trouble there.
Yes.
So I went and reached the same night.
So
Then the CBI officers in Madras and all the Tamil Nadu police chief came to the airport. He said, why did you take it up? There is nothing in this case. 17 persons are killed. Rajiv Gandhi body beyond recognition. One head of a woman, 2 legs, one hand somewhere. Nothing. He said, don't demotivate me. I have taken up the case. We'll do our best. Nothing is impossible. So that's how we started it.
And then where did you, so that big problem of there is nowhere to start, there's nothing to go on. What did you do then?
No,
How did you solve that
we went
problem?
to the hospital straight away, had a meeting with the DG's office, and persons who were in charge of the security, Mr. R.K. Raghavan was also there, and they explained what all happened, and we went to the hospital. There was one lady, sub-inspector of police, Anasuya. Now she just retired as deputy superintendent of police.
Yes.
She was the person who tried to prevent this killer reaching him, tried to stop her.
Yes.
Mr. Rajiv Gandhi said, relax,
Let her come. Yes.
let her come. Just, she had a garland which she offered and bent down as if to touch the feet. But later on, we found out later on what all happened. Then there was an explosion. That lady's head went somewhere like a football. One head was completely in pieces. One hand had dying, 2 legs. Mr. Rajiv Gandhi's front portion of the entire body was blown off. Even the face was not recognizable. He was actually first recognized by the Lotto shoes he was wearing. He was seen in the airport earlier, in Chennai airport, in the interview. The Lotto shoe was visible and all that. That's how we started. And even though that lady was
So you
badly
identified
injured,
the bodies as
Pardon?
well? You identified the bodies as well? In the hospital?
Later. No. That was all over, no.
Okay.
This was the 3rd day.
Okay, this was
Third day that body was taken out. We went and, of course, examined the scene with the forensic experts and all that. This lady, Anusuya, lost 3 of her fingers, pellets all over her body. But still she was alert enough to tell what happened, even that night. Then, of course, next day we went and invested it's a long story.
Yes.
Story, you need,
No, but,
you need 3 hours to complete the story.
Well,
I won't go into the details.
when you discovered that it was the LTT, again, there was a lot of fear.
That was 3 weeks later.
3 weeks later. There was
3
a lot of
weeks
fear
later.
about your life as well, that now they
That
might
was
come
there,
after
that was
you.
there throughout. That was there throughout. That is particularly after we identified it was there. That's all not necessary now. Not relevant to our discussions. You don't have much time for that. Yes, there were a lot of threats were there. Wireless messages were exchanged between Jaffna and Chennai, where they had the clandestine operations were there. And they said, who is this fellow and things like that. And there were attempts, surveyed the place where I functioned and there was attempts to bomb the building and things like that. These are all not relevant to you now. It will take, all your interview will go only in that. I don't think that's the purpose of interview. Yes,
but
3 weeks later we identified.
you identified.
In fact, a good friend of mine, Mr. N. Ram, of the senior editor, he wrote an editorial telling it can be anybody but not LTT. No, he had reasons for that. But later on he said, yes, I was wrong. And we found out because nobody knew. It was really a blind case. Totally nobody knew. But we kept an open mind. Allegations were made to me against everybody in this country. All top leaders of all parties, allegations were there telling they did it because of this and things like that. I kept an open mind. I didn't accept anything. I didn't reject anything. We verified each one of them and rejected what was not true. But we didn't share it with the world, otherwise it would have been a commotion at that time. Allegations were made against people, unbelievable. Yes, and 3 weeks later, we identified them, confirmed it was LTT, and we had an open mind. Otherwise, there is no reason for me to fix them. No. When slowly the world was convinced, and ultimately they themselves, the evidence, if you go through the book, you will know, they themselves conceded that they should not have done it. That's the cover story itself says, their advisor said, unfortunate and all that.
You were mentioned, in fact, in one of the suicide notes. where one
Yeah,
person
one
said,
more.
"Thank
Yes.
you for your
That was in Coimbatore.
Yes.
We are after them. We are after them. It was very difficult, but because the credibility of the investigation.
yes,
So the media with us, totally, because they knew every word I said was true and nothing but truth. That has been my history even earlier also. I kept the media always in the picture, never misguided them because they are serving a public cause like us. And there is no case you can, why should I mislead them? They are doing a public duty as much as we are doing it. And they've got a duty to inform the public. Only thing is because the faith in me, even when they had their own parallel investigation teams going around.
yes,
And I think Frontline
yes.
went on many editions. And the edition in Calcutta sold for 150 rupees, 200 rupees and all that. It was a collector's item. It became there, rare photographs and all these things. We kept the media in the picture. Sometimes the media had little more information than I had. They used to share with me. I said, please don't do it one more day. After our operation, then I said, publish it. So once I got a direction from Delhi that keep the media away, I wrote a letter telling sorry, ask somebody else to take up the investigation.
Right.
There is no way we will investigate without the media
So
in the picture. Otherwise, people will not trust me.
So the three conditions that you placed in the beginning before you took up the case, were all three conditions followed? Were they
Yes.
ever broken? Yeah, they were followed.
Yes, by and large, yes.
By and large.
Never allowed political interference.
Never
No.
allow political interference. You were also the
That was a very tougher task for me, was keeping politics away than even dealing with the terrorists. I have written it again and again and again, number of times. Very tough.
You were the first CBI director after the Vineet Narayan case and when the Supreme Court gave new forms of independence to the CBI. At that point, when you took over and you saw that now the CBI is to some extent independent, was there still attempts for political
No,
interference?
you see, it's a long history. If you
Yes.
don't too much dealing with this, what happened later on, and from investigation, it's a different matter. It was fiercely independent. I never asked, I said I will never ask for a favor. I will never seek a favor from anyone. So I could do that. You can't expect everybody to be like that. I was fairly, and then for that, others may call it suffering. I don't take it as a suffering. It's okay. Whatever happened is for the good. In fact, my tenure was cut short because my predecessor was given extension. And then the moment my term was over, they raised the age of retirement also. Fine. It's all, at that time it looks strange, but I said, okay, it's the will of God. Everything is for the good. It's no problem about that. And then, even then, Vajpayee government has taken over. Then, the last day of my office as Director CBI, the previous evening, Mr. Brijesh Mishra was the most powerful bureaucrat ever in this country. He was Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, Vajpayee, also National Security Advisor.
Okay.
He called me the previous evening, Mr. Kaarthikeyan, you have done a great job. Even though Rajiv Gandhi was a congressman, we all appreciate what you have done for the nation. In fact, particularly the Prime Minister Vajpayee is so happy, and he has decided to send you as ambassador
Yes.
to a major country. I didn't react. He said, I am telling you, please don't commit yourself to anything. I said, no, as long as I am holding office, nothing. So next morning, Chief Justice Venkatachalaya, he was the National Human Rights Commission chairman.
Yes.
He invited me for a cup of coffee in the afternoon. He said, what's your plan? I said, sir, why? No, I want you to come and join as the Director General of the National Human Rights Commission. Then I told him, I said, yesterday evening Mr. Brijesh Mishra has told me not commit myself to anything because the government is sending me as ambassador to which country? I said, I didn't ask him. I didn't ask him. He said, it's a major country. No, what is that, Mr. Kaarthikeyan, ambassador? In the Human Rights Commission, you can do a lot of work. We need a man of your caliber. I'm inviting you because we have watched it throughout. You have always enforced the law, at the same time respected human rights and all that. I've kept the post vacant for you. You must come and join. I told him, sir, I don't like to be in Delhi. It's a bureaucratic city. People are respected for where you live and what you address and all that. Do you think I like Delhi? But everything happens in Delhi. So please come and join. You will bring a lot of credibility to my organization and all that. I said, give me some time. Then I took a long time and ultimately, then Justice Verma, who succeeded him as Chief Justice of India, J.S. Verma, famous person, he also called me one day. He said, Yes, Venkatachala, I need you. I don't say yes to him.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to interrupt you, obviously, because we are on the clock. But I know that you haven't been too comfortable commenting on what is happening in the CBI right now. But I want you to help our audience understand why it's important for the CBI to be independent and to not be torn apart in this manner, and for it to become a political fight. The unfortunate part about it is it has now become a clear political battle. Why is it important that it should not happen to the CBI?
It's a long history, and I have been commenting on it from time to time, in the media also, long back. There was a time when the government could appoint anybody as director of CBI, which, like the rest of the nation, I also felt that was not correct, because even if the Prime Minister takes the best man, but the people will think he is selected by
Yes.
a leader of a party,
Yes.
and whatever he does must be to oblige him. It was not necessarily so. There have been directors who have been independent when appointed also. So I always said that it's not correct way of appointing director CBI. You can appoint any other office in the government, doesn't matter. But director CBI is a very critical position. For that you have to talk for a long time. I will not go into that now. Because even he has got a right to decide. It is wrong to say that any innocent person can be framed. No.
Yes. Yes.
No innocent person can be framed by anybody. But there are a lot of people with shady past. People in power, people in the opposition party, in political being what it is today. But then he has got a discretion to decide when to register an FIR.
And when to
organize a raid.
Yes.
When to raid, when to make an arrest, when to file a charge sheet. Lot of discretion is in his hands with all these restrictions there.
Yes.
So it becomes very critical for the people, the party in power.
So, and a lot of these raids and investigations and FIRs are filed against people who are either political enemies or political allies in order to
May
keep
not
them
be
in
there.
check.
I don't know. I will see a person. Any person can be as independent as he wants to be. He has to fear his conscience. Either he believes in God or his own conscience to do it. I would say that they could be manipulated by the people in power. I also cannot say that not done it. See, there have been incidences when I used to ask my successor, why do you do it? And they have said, sir, if we had not done that, the government would have collapsed. There would be instability in the country. One officer told me. I said, that's not your job.
That's not the job of the CBI.
I told them. But anyhow, he said that is his judgment. I can't sit in judgment over his judgment. But I had questioned them, and they have said also, we did it, we delayed it, or we did it only for that purpose and all that. Now, there's a lot of improvement after the appointment director was decided by the Prime Minister, leader of the opposition, and the Chief Justice of India.
Yes.
That brought it, more acceptable thing. But I have said even then, the past may not be gone into in detail. I always said the ideal thing is what is happening in America. A director of FBI cannot be appointed by the, very senior position in America, then president can nominate, but that person has to go through a congressional committee hearings. That is his past. His independence, integrity, impartiality, efficiency, all that is tested. It's a public hearing.
Yes.
A man with a shady past dare not appear. And that means to that extent there is no lobby.
Yes.
So the government also prevented from being lobby, like the president will not put a...
So Mr. Kaarthikeyan, in the last 1 year, we first started with that press conference from 4 Supreme Court judges, one of whom is currently the Chief Justice. We then had this whole thing break out in the CBI, and in the stories that came out, the RAW was mentioned in one member of the RAW was mentioned at least in one FIR. The IB was caught supposedly snooping, so that's 3 agencies now. And in the last 4 days, the RBI has also come out and put out hints about government interference. Is there a pattern here, or is there a risk of our institutions?
I'm sure you will respect my keeping away from politics.
Yes.
Or anything to do with politics. And I will put it indirectly. See, all key positions of enforcement and a lot of power should not only be independent, should appear to be independent also to the nation. People should believe, everybody should believe what the man is doing is right.
Yes.
Wrong. It is on nation. That starts with the appointment, I told you. The appointment has to be, what is being done is good enough. But the ideal thing is like what happens in America. Because, then person with some shady past, he will not dare to appear as a candidate. He will not even lobby, he will refuse.
Yes.
So such position should be offered to people on invitation.
Yes.
Anyone who lobbies for any position should be disqualified. The only disqualification for such persons is he is lobbying.
Yes.
Means he should be, that's a disqualification, even though he may be most efficient. That means when the man has vested interest. Why should it be? It should be on invitation. People, such high positions should be on invitation. That's an ideal situation.
Yes.
We
You
may
should
or
be
may
so
not reach ultimately.
confident of your past and your track record that you should be willing to put it under scrutiny.
No,
is what you're saying.
I'm telling you, first time I'm telling you, I was offered. Even after retirement also, after offered, I declined. On the Human Rights Commission extension, I said no. Extension is wrong in principle. Should not be given. Chief Justice Verma asked me. I said, no, sir. Extension, I've always said extension office is not good. Even though they may be the most efficient person, but the public perception will be, well, he is given extension, so he has to oblige the people who are doing it and all that. It is not correct. I declined it. In the Human Rights Commission also I declined it. Thereafter, one of the Chief Justice of India, he requested me, he said, you have got such a glorious past, a lot of problems in the country. I am suggesting to people in power to, I said, sir, please don't talk.
Yes.
And they told me, anything he wants, he will give. I said, please don't, sir. I didn't ask you to talk, please don't do it. I don't know when we will reach the position. People, such key positions should be given only on invitation, not on lobbying.
Yes.
In any case, a man who is considered should be put before the public.
Yes.
Hearing, Congressional committee or parliamentary committee, go through his past. Anything affecting his independence, impartiality, integrity, efficiency, he should be rejected. If you do that, people won't lobby for such positions.
Yes.
So the government, whether the president or the prime minister, is absolved from the pressure groups
the
also.
appointment, from the pressures of
And
appointment.
then such a person appointed, people will accept whatever he decides is right.
I
And
want to
there,
ask
once
you
you
this
appoint
question.
him,
Yes.
everybody else who elected should be with his consent.
I want to ask you this question again, because a lot of ordinary citizens across the country don't understand the relationship or the dynamic between two institutions. What is the relationship between the IB and the CBI? Because again, they were two very different views. One view was they're snooping. Another view was this is routine in Delhi. And you've been part of the system without necessarily commenting on what happened. What is the relationship between these two agencies?
No, IB and CBI, the charters are entirely different.
Okay.
Though both are for the integrity of the nation, security of the nation, safety of the nation and all that, their charter is different. There is no scope for clash at all. After all, IB is doing its job.
Yes.
Their job is to report to government what is happening where. Nothing wrong, even if those people who are watching that CBI, who is meeting him and all that. So what is the great about it? In fact, I think I was telling you, don't spend too much time on that.
Okay.
That's not a relevant. You know very well when government fell because some IB people watched the, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi's case and all that. That is only making political capital out of it. I don't think we should make much of it. IB's charter is very wide, different, need not be known to everybody. It's okay, it's fine. In our investigation also, we took the cooperation of the IB also, very much. IB and the RAW helped us a lot. And they also realized, my God, we didn't know this. They could have taken it. If those communication between Jaffna, LTTE, and India had been deciphered in time, code messages, they would have known an attempt is being made on a VIP. But they are all coded messages. But they took time to decipher them because they are very clever. So it was deciphered after we took up the investigation. If that had been deciphered earlier, they would have known some high personality is being targeted and all that. It happens, you can't prove it's a fault of anybody.
Yes.
I personally, what IB did, even the four fellows, even granting they were there watching, I don't think you should make much of that. So what?
Okay.
So what? It's all right. Government of the day, to some extent, the stability of the government has to be also taken care of. That's part of the charter of the IB.
Okay.
Yes. I know of governments where important ministers have been watched by the IB and reported to the Prime Minister.
Reported to the Prime Minister.
Because they thought he may create a coup or something. I don't think we should bother about it. Stability of the government, in a way, yes, it's also a part of the IB, but not going out of it. Only reporting what's happening. They're not manipulating anything.
Stability of the government. Okay, so I do want to ask you this, and this was an exceptional honor for the country when Interpol asked you to come in and make a presentation about how you cracked the Rajiv Gandhi case. It was the first time I think we were using forensics in the country. It was the first time we deciphered coded messages like you did. From there till what the CBI is today, or do you believe that there will come a time when we can again regain that glory in the minds of people? You also said it's important for people to trust the CBI.
There have been episodes which have considerably damaged the credibility of the CBI. Certain episodes, I won't say that because it's a vast organization, and one or two aberrations will not damage the organization. Particularly critical levels, the public perception will be that, how do we trust them?
Yes.
Okay, what happened recently is sad, unfortunate. It's a damage which should have been prevented. Could have been. My point is, could have been prevented within the CBI itself. It should have been sorted out. Why it could have been done, there is another story. Yes. I may not like to discuss that.
Yes.
From initially, if something has gone wrong in the CBI, it could not be controlled within the CBI. It was the CVC who had the responsibility.
Yes.
He should have intervened and sorted it out. If perhaps he has done his best, I don't say that. If after doing all his best he finds it's not possible to him, he could have reported to the government. I dare say that again and again, in time.
In time.
In which case the government had the opportunity to call for the collegium meeting,
and do something.
And they could have placed before the collegium of the Chief Justice or opposition and all that, why this man should not continue as Director CBI. If they are convinced, they could have removed him straight away. Why go and ask him to go on leave? All this could have been done. Even if all the opposition party may not agree, but then the majority, I personally feel, the majority, the PM and the Chief Justice could have taken a decision and sent him out same day. What is the problem? What you do with the other man is a different thing. I personally feel there is no need for this report to be given midnight to the government, and forcing the government to have a cabinet meeting at early morning. And all these discussions are avoidable. And it doesn't do good to the image of either CBI or the government or the nation also outside also. This is something which is preventable. And now also another thing now is the system created after the campaign is not working. So that means it has to be redone.
Yes.
So again, ideal thing is to create a situation where the best man is selected. Integrity, impartiality, efficiency, independence, also very important. You may be an honest man. Suppose you're not independent, created, and then that man is given the power to induct only those in whom he is trustworthy,
yes.
People are honest, and then if it happens, I tell you, all this can be prevented. I do hope something will happen. It can be restored.
It can be
restored. It can be restored within a few months' time. I'm sure they're going to do it now. Supreme Court is involved now.
Mr. Kaarthikeyan, many thanks for spending time with us and sharing your insight on so many issues and sharing your stories. Mr. Kaarthikeyan is a super cop. Unfortunately, we celebrate gangsters in this country in like popular culture and Bollywood, but somebody should make a film on this story as well.
Somebody's making a movie. Somebody's making a movie. All right.
That's a wrap because we've run out of time, but we do hope that Mr. Kaarthikeyan will keep coming back to Mirror Now and sharing his insight on all of these matters with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.